So they probably targeted her first, like the day before. And there's Lynette. And Jemma. What's this awkward silence?
Jemma?
You again. What is it this time?
We just ran into the men who've been threatening you, and we gave them a taste of their own medicine. So, you can relax now. We're here to protect you.
What? Why? I didn't tell you anything. Why would they come after you?
Sounds like they're no strangers to you.
That's putting it mildly. I know them all too well, and I hate them with every fiber of my being. It's been 10 long years, and still every time I try to look into Cesar's death, they show up and warn me not to do anything stupid.
That's what Lorenzo told us.
How do I know I can trust you? Do you really think you can get to the bottom of it all? And why are you doing this?
Yeah, why is Lyney doing this?
I'm afraid I can't reveal all the details just yet, but I can promise you this. I will expose the Phantom Weasel's true identity.
Was Lynette targeted as well?
Because you see, this is a personal matter of the
Yeah.
utmost importance.
Why is it so
I
personal
give you
to
my
you?
word.
Is it
Trust
because of Lynette?
Okay.
Or
How can I
Fremine?
help you?
I've heard that Cesar used to have a magic workshop where he kept a lot of his personal effects. If possible, I'd like to take a look at them. Do you know where it is?
The Fleuve Sonde. But the place was sealed up by the police after his death, and no one's been there since. I also know that the Fleuve Sonde is dangerous territory. Lots of hostile groups lurking around. If you're serious about going there, please be careful.
Understood. Lynette, you stay here and take care of Jemma. Don't let her come to harm.
Got it. But if I'm staying here, I'm ordering dessert.
I mean, bon appetit. But stay sharp, too. They're likely to come for you while I'm away.
Okay. Alright. Power saving mode off. I'll start taking this more seriously.
Power
now.
saving mode off. Okay, Lynette, that was a death stare.
Coffee is life.
Again, Lynette is an absolute mood, and I love her.
Looks like no more.
She is so funny. Before that, you just saw a sample of Lyney's gameplay, and I haven't gotten a chance to explain it properly yet. So, hopefully, if this is the dungeon, I should be able to explain more to you now.
If Jemma gave us the right location, then the workshop should be right nearby. Huh. Looks like these boxes are blocking the entrance. Let's shift them away first. There we go. It should be just down here.
So this was Caesar's workshop. Nothing suspicious here, just normal magic props. Let's head in further. What was that? Oh, is this one of Caesar's gadgets?
It's called a jump scare.
Guess we must have triggered some sort of device.
There we go. And now it's time for us to finally get into some proper Lyney gameplay. His normal attack is Card Force Translocation. which is a 4 consecutive shot attack, but also a charge attack with pyro damage as well. Once this charge reaches level 2, he can shoot a prop arrow, dealing pyro damage and summoning for Monk and Hat, and gains a prop circle stack as well. However, if his HP is over 60%, it actually costs him part of his HP. This allows his first passive, Perilous Performance, to restore his energy and increase damage by 80%. Going back to the Monk and Hat, it taunts enemies, and once destroyed, deals pyro damage to all enemies nearby. Now, his second passive, Conclusive Ovation, allows damage to be increased on enemies inflicted by pyro by 60% and another 20% per pyro element party member on the team, excluding Lyney.
Whoa. Look. The doll in the box is glowing. There's something written on the card on this doll. Let's take a closer look.
But as you can see, part of his HP is consumed because of his charged but proper actually consuming his HP. He's basically like a pyro shell, but you'll see there's more than that. It's not just simply a pyro
Looks like we've reached the
shell.
end of this route. Shall we try a different one? These magic boxes are moving. What do we do?
One of them looks different from the rest. Let's investigate.
That was the one. So this entire dungeon is like a little magic. It's basically a little magic show. But spot the difference. I actually really do like the aesthetics of this place.
That's weird. Have we reached the end already? There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
Lily, what are you looking at?
This place seems a little too ordinary for a magician's workshop. There's a distinct lack of mystery. We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here. I'm starting to wonder whether Cesar built this whole place as one big, elaborate magic contraption. If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe a hidden room somewhere. Aha! If I just move this book, then hopefully... and... presto!
Look at that.
A secret passageway! How did you know?
Lyney literally
I'm a
built one to the
magician
ore
too.
trees, remember?
And apparently, great minds really do think alike. Looks pretty big inside. Let's head in and take a look around.
Alright, let's go. But yeah, this guy is basically... you will see in his feature skills. This guy is more like a Hu Tao than the Xiao. Continuing on. If he gets enough stack, his E skill, Bewildering Lights, consumes his pop
Now
circle
disappear.
stacks, dealing AoE power damage, and his HP based off his max HP, depend on how much stack is consumed. You can see how much stack he has next to the character, and that pop circle stack has a max of 5. So again, you basically use his charge attack to consume HP, and then heal him by using his E. And now you see why he's more like a Hu Tao, except he doesn't even use his ult to heal him. He just uses E, and that'll work just as fine. And now, here's his elemental burst.
round of applause!
Wondrous Trick Miracle Parade is basically turning into Grimalkin Hat, not to be mistaken by the Grimalkin Hat's summons, dealing pyro damage around them. And after it ends, it gives him 1 stack of prop surplus, which can get used for this.
Voila!
Why have you stopped, Lyney? Is there some device in that box?
Huh. It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys go on ahead. If anyone makes a major discovery, let's rendezvous here.
All right, see you in a bit.
So basically, with the amount of damage stacks you can do with having multiple pyro teams, so I have like a pyro only team with Lyney, and the fact that his damage stacks with prop arrows basically, or with the surplus stacks, this guy can reach ridiculous amounts of damage. Combine that with an elemental mastery comp as well. I think I know what the puzzle is, so I'm gonna there you go, and then I messed up. But you can also cheese it with a jump. Easy. I like this puzzle. But yeah, Lyney's gameplay, really fun. And as a person that's not personal big fan of both characters, ignore that you're me on my team, he has surprisingly cool gameplay that does crazy damage if built correctly.
Let's see. Oh, this bookcase is full of Caesar's own notes. He wrote a lot about the principles of magic. Whew. Much too advanced for Paimon. Hey, look! Is that Caesar's diary on the table? This book's thick as a brick! Let's take a peek inside it, shall we?
About the wish list.
At one of my shows a few days ago, a child asked me how I pulled candy out of my hat. As a joke, I told the kid that the hat has a built-in wish-granting machine. Next thing I know, today a whole bunch of kids were pestering me to pull all sorts of things out of the hat. So I told them another white lie. The machine needs time to power up, but in the meantime, you can write your wishes down. Well, they took me up on that offer, enthusiastically. As I write this, I've only just got back from running
so it's like
around
Santa
all over
Claus.
town, buying the things they wanted. Boy, are my legs sore. I wound up saving very little this month, but that's not a major issue. I now have a bigger problem. How am I going to hide all these things inside my hat?
About the children studying magic.
2 children came to talk to me after today's show. I don't know why they were out on their own. They looked much
Is one of them
too young to be
Lorenzo?
unsupervised. I do hope they got home safely.
Oh wait.
Anyway, they said that they wanted me to teach
Oh
them how
no
to
no
do
no no.
magic.
This is
not
Lyney.
uncommon for children to ask this.
Is
of
this
course,
Lyney and Lynette?
but I've never seen any of them as serious about it as these 2. I told them that learning magic is very hard work.
Is
That
Cesar
didn't
Lyney
faze
and
them
Lynette's
at all.
teacher?
It's like they already knew. They seemed so committed. I couldn't turn them down.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is Lyney and Lynette, right? Because if you remember in Act 1, Lyney said that he found a street performer for magic and he wanted to learn from him, and as such they became popular magicians. And that's how they caught the eyes of nobles, and in the near future became members of the House of the Hearth. About Lorenzo's issues.
It seems like something's bothering Lorenzo lately, but he won't open up to me about it. Surely he's not upset that I agreed to teach those two children. I'll have to talk him around. I have a good feeling about those kids. They're naturally talented, and it seems like they're not new to the
Okay,
world
yeah,
of
so
magic.
this is for sure Lyney and Lynette. And they
Have all
probably
sorts
looked up
of
to Cesar.
fantastic ideas. All I'm really doing is helping them develop a more professional standard training plan.
And Lorenzo was against that? Oh,
They wanted to call me Master, but I told them they absolutely mustn't. Any magician worth their salt could have taught them what I have.
wait, then Lorenzo
They're
should
the
know Lyney, right?
geniuses here. Compared to them, I don't deserve to be called any sort of master. With time, I have no doubt that they could become far greater magicians than I. My only concern is why they're so mature for their age. I fear they've had to grow up too fast. I don't dare to imagine what they must have been through.
They were orphans.
Jemma thinks so too. She doesn't like being around them. Says that their eyes are too
So
piercing.
wait, so Jemma should know them too.
They don't bother me, but then
So
again,
then was Jemma Lorenzo
I've never been the
playing
sharpest tool in the
ignorance?
shed.
In that case, then how did Lyney and Lynette not recognize Jemma? And Lorenzo? About the farewell.
It's nearly time for me to go on tour. I asked the two kids if they'd like to come with me, but they shook their heads. I once overheard them talking about their father and their mission.
Oh
Sounds
my
like their
god.
parents
Okay, yeah,
have other
that's
plans for
Arlecchino.
them. I guess we'll
And the
be
mission is
parting
saving
ways
Fontaine.
soon. It's only been 10 days since I first met them.
Wait,
I
but
think
that
that
doesn't
I've
add
gotten
up.
a feel for their personalities now. They're very tough, but also very cautious. And they trust no one but each other.
That's not a.
This,
That doesn't add up though.
I fear, is not a good habit to have. They hide things from me too. For example, when I asked them where they live and why they wanted to learn magic, they lied. That's the thing about children. Whenever they're trying to cover something up, it always shows somehow.
That's what Lyney just said about the
I can
kids.
sense that their lives have been hard. Possibly even dangerous, too.
So by the time Cesar met them, they're already House of
not
the
like
Hearth
other
members?
children.
That doesn't add up though.
It's a shame that I can't do more to help them.
Or it's been that long.
After thinking things over, I decided to tell them a bit about how I see the world. It's full of lies and falsehoods. And that is why we must find our own truth. P.S. I hope they won't find my nagging annoying. Children are so opinionated nowadays. Will it do them more harm than good for someone they've only known 10 days to lecture them like that? P.P.S. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Children aren't interested in grand philosophies.
No, they did not.
Probably just went in one ear and
Lyney
out
certainly
the
remembers
other.
what he said.
I bet they've already forgotten.
Assumption
every
that
word
this
I
is
said.
Lyney.
Oh, Cesar.
Assumption that this is Lyney, then
Just mind
Lyney
your own
clearly
business
remembers
next
this.
time.
Stop reading.
Two magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh?
That's Lyney and Lynette, that's for sure. 100% twins.
Sounds a lot like he was writing about Lyney and Lynette, don't you think?
You think?
So did they meet Cesar when they were kids? Let's go ask Lyney.
But that doesn't add up though. Then they said that it was after they became proper magicians that he met Arlecchino. Timeline doesn't add up. Or am I mistaken? Or am I mixing something up?
Lyney?
Shh, hold that thought. As I expected, there's a lot of fishy things going on in this
Well,
place.
now we know why he has personal sticks, because he knows
Fishy?
about
Uh-oh, what have you found?
Cesar through his past.
All in good time. Before we go over our new leads, I want to tell you how a high-altitude escape is performed.
What?
First, the magician slots themselves into a magic box in full view of the audience. The box is then suspended high in the air, and a short while later, the base automatically opens. At this point, a dummy will fall out of the box, but it looks real enough to grab the audience's attention, and they start wailing and screaming.
Are you saying Cesar faked his death?
Meanwhile, the real magician, who has by now blended into the crowd, waits for a good moment to make their appearance and put on a hysterical performance. Oh no! Is that me? Did I just fall to my death?
Very vivid description. Paimon can really picture it. And then what?
The audience's gaze then turns to the magician, and by the time they realize what's happened, the dummy has vanished, as if everything that just happened was some sort of shared illusion. Of course, that's just how I think the process should work, theoretically speaking.
Theoretically speaking, what do you mean?
The inventor of this trick never performed it successfully. When the box opened, Cesar was the one who fell out, and not the dummy. He fell right to the ground from the highest point of the opera house. No one could hope to survive that fall, not without a vision at least. And no one else has ever attempted this trick since. My understanding of how it works is
Well,
just
why would
based on
Cesar
what I could
do
gather
that?
from his notes and the relevant gadgets
Isn't
here
that
in his
basically
workshop.
committing suicide?
So Caesar's famous high-altitude escape has never been done, huh? Paimon was about to say how cool it would have been to see it in person, but if it's that dangerous, it's probably for the best that no one else tries to do it. Wait a second. So if a dummy's supposed to drop out of the box, then where does the real magician go? How does he get out?
Glad you asked. That brings us to the secret of said box. This box right here is the one that Cesar constructed himself to use in the performance, and it's not as simple as it looks. Inside, there's a device that only the magician himself would know about. Once the magician's inside and the box is lifted up into the air, the audience's view of the box is fixed at a certain angle. From where they're standing, they have a clear view of the front, sides, and bottom, but the back and the top are now no longer visible. At this point, the magician presses a button inside the box, opening a secret door out of view. He then escapes through this trap door onto the opera house roof, waits for the dummy to fall and distract the audience, and quietly returns to ground level.
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined. Even Paimon could probably do it.
Well, there's a little more to it than that, of course. The hardest part of this trick is controlling
If not
the
simple, then
audience's
it's
mood and
very,
reactions.
you know,
That takes an exceptional degree of showmanship.
death-defying.
There's the falling dummy, the miraculous reappearance, the pompous performing. Maybe the magician would even have themselves tied up before it begins to strengthen the impression that there's no escape. Many days and nights of careful research and painstaking practice would have gone into this, all culminating in a performance just a few minutes long, but one that still manages to transform the shock and grief of a tragic accident to the joy and laughter of a mesmerizing magic trick. Cesar was a highly accomplished magician. But unfortunately, even he didn't manage to pull it off.
So, how did it go so wrong? You
The
said
box
you
had to
found
been
some
rigged
fishy
to
stuff,
get him
sir.
killed.
Figured out what really happened?
So someone set Cesar up.
I can make a pretty good guess. I looked into the case files. The magic box Cesar was using at the time of his death had the secret button I mentioned positioned on the right-hand side. And sure enough, he always used his right hand as his dominant hand in public.
Okay. Nothing suspicious there.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here, which leads me to believe that Cesar was in fact left-handed.
Why would Cesar pretend to be right-handed?
Because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. People naturally focus their attention on the most important details of the task or situation at hand. But a magician needs to be able to redirect an audience's attention at will, so as to avoid arousing their suspicion. The essence of magic is getting people to believe a lie. If even the truth raises eyebrows, the falsehoods become all the more difficult to mask. And so, Cesar trained himself to use his right hand to align with his audience's expectations. Great magic always requires sacrifices. But in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moments, and when no one was watching, reflex would kick in and he'd use his left hand. That's why he set his gadgets with the mechanism on his left.
Maybe someone exploited that fact against him.
Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Cesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the hidden compartment, retrieve the dummy, then open the secret door and make a swift escape. But I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless times to the point where it was second nature. He'd barely need to think about what he was doing because muscle memory would guide him through. So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then went to leave. With his left hand, he reached for the button, and suddenly, his heart skipped a beat.
It wasn't there.
It wasn't there. Much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, his mind needed a moment to process what was going on.
The box was rigged to kill him.
Instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around for the missing button, maybe for another second or two, until the bottom of the box gave way. With the stakes being as high as they were, just a 2-second delay cost him everything. The authorities would find nothing suspicious and conclude that his death was due to his own error.
Not like a
Yeah,
practice,
someone switched the boxes.
but it was a
And
setup.
they did it to murder him. But how would they be able to make the switch without being noticed? That would be difficult to pull off, no?
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed, and who could move his props around without arousing suspicion. Someone who was
Lorenzo or
always
Jemma.
by his side. Isn't that right, Lorenzo?
Yep, it was Lorenzo.
Couldn't let sleeping dogs lie, could
I mean,
you?
it was obvious that he was the
Not a lot of
culprit.
people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. I didn't want to have to do this, you know. Silencing you the hard way just creates more problems for me to deal with.
Such as attracting the
But I
Fatui.
gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do what's good for you and back off like the lady, but you disappoint me.
You mean Jemma? So you are the one who's been threatening her.
I mean, that was pretty obvious
Yes,
by now.
although however stubborn she might be, she was never much of a liability. But you people, you never even knew him, but for some reason you just wouldn't drop it. Which is why you can't leave this place alive. Take them out, and make it quick.
Do your worst.
This will be easy.
Here comes the finale.
And that was fast. Damn, the card knocked him out flat. That's one tough card.
You kids are tougher than you look.
Had enough yet, Lorenzo? Your cronies can't help you now. I think it's high time you started talking, and what I'd really like to know is, why did you murder Cesar?
If I had a mora for every time you said that man's name. Of course you idolized Cesar, everyone else did. But I was the real genius magician. Me! He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made magic into the fine art it is today. The aristocrats doffed their hats to me!
So it was jealousy.
Jealousy. Hatred, more like. I hated Cesar. All he cared about was his magic. He lived and breathed it.
If you showed passion for magic, you wouldn't care about
His
profits.
street performances and his stupid tours like it was just a hobby to him. Never bothering to think about Mora. What sort of fool devotes their life to the
That's
art of
passion,
deception?
Lorenzo.
Never has a Mora to
Pure
show for it.
passion.
But the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. No one gave me a second look. All I ever heard was, "Oh, your master's amazing, isn't he?" Amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work, mastered all the skills, and it brought me nothing more than the life I already had.
Why didn't you just leave?
He forbade me from using magic to trick people out of their Mora. There was nothing he hated more than that. And with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I dabbled in my own brand of money-making magic, he would expose me, and it would destroy me. I had to kill him. There was no other way. He had to go.
But the thing is, that
This was
doesn't
your
make him
only
the
motive?
that doesn't make him the
It
Phantom
was
Thief,
reason
though.
enough. What other motive would I need?
Well, I was under the impression that there might have been other factors at play. For instance, maybe you were in love with Jemma,
mean,
but
that
she was
too.
engaged to Cesar.
In love with Jemma? Don't be ridiculous.
Guess I was wrong about that then. Next question.
Yeah, is he the
Are
Phantom Thief?
you the Phantom Weasel?
I am.
Okay, he is. Okay, never mind then.
Caesar was...
I was gonna say that his motives doesn't really scream Phantom Thief to
insisted
me.
that his way was the right way. That
Only
the
just a
sole
pure
purpose
thief,
of magic
not,
was to bring joy
you know,
to the
Mora.
world. I never bought into any of that. I was more interested in the practical value of magic. Sure enough, it helped me fill my pockets with all kinds of valuable treasures.
But I heard that the Phantom Weasel stole from the rich and poor alike.
Oh, yeah! Charlotte told us that the weasel would steal whatever people valued, no matter how much it was worth.
Yeah, that doesn't match up with his motives.
That's just how it looked from the outside. What would any thief want with second-rate loot? I've only ever targeted high-value items. I stole cheap things as a way of practicing my craft. It was other people's overactive imaginations that conjured up the preposterous image they then dubbed the Phantom Weasel.
So you're a con artist.
So that's the story, huh? Well, I hope you're ready to tell it all over again during your trial.
What choice do I have? You're a pack of wolves, and you've got me between your jaws. You've seen what's here, and my last-ditch effort to stop it getting out has failed. What else can I do? So be it. I've enjoyed power and wealth for the last 10 years, the likes of which Caesar could never give.
So we're going to kill Lyney like how you killed
I
Cesar
wouldn't
then
choose
too?
for things to end this way, but I regret nothing.
Very well. In that case, I'll contact the guards. Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorenzo for me. I'll meet you just outside the workshop when I'm back.
That was quick and easy. I mean, it was pretty obvious that Lorenzo was the true killer, and if Caesar was framed up, it could only be Lorenzo being the Phantom Thief. But the way he talked, it almost made it convinced that he wasn't the Phantom Thief, and maybe Jemma was still somehow involved. No, Jemma was just an innocent bystander in all this.
Lyney has told me the whole story. Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Cesar and to framing him for the Phantom Weasel's crimes?
Look who's finally developed a conscience. What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it. Because there'll be hell to pay.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lyney? Should we start preparing for your show?
Let me think. Let's rendezvous with Lynette and Jemma first. With Lorenzo in custody, Jemma will no longer have to fear for her safety.
Good point. We should go tell Jemma the good news right away. It'll give her some peace of mind for sure.
Alright. So things are coming to a close here. And yet we still don't have a cinematic shot. And I'm assuming I know what's going to be about then.
Ah, you're back. You were so quick. I've only just finished my third dessert.
Third?
Your third? Lynette, come on, we've talked about this. Everything in moderation. You're not gonna have any room left for dinner now.
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog off the excess sugar.
That's besides the point.
Okay, Lynette.
Well,
Are you sure you're not a robot, Lynette? Because you
Try
sure
to
act
eat a
like
more
one.
balanced diet in the future.
Point taken.
Did everything go okay?
Of course. Lorenzo was no match
God.
for us.
I love Lynette's just so done face. It's so funny.
Gosh, that's amazing. I'm sorry, I still didn't know if I could trust you, but now it seems I can. I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but I...
It's okay. We understand. He did threaten you. Paimon would find it hard to trust strangers in your position, too. But you don't need to be scared anymore. Everything's gonna be okay.
Sorry. Sorry. My emotions are all
Man,
over
I
the
feel
place right
bad
now.
for suspecting her all this time.
I've been waiting for this day to come for so long. I always wanted to report Lorenzo. He took all of Cesar's property, which I found suspicious. But I had people watching me all the time, so I couldn't risk looking into it. I was so afraid. I was scared he'd do something terrible to me, and then no one would be left to visit Cesar's grave. So I
What's up with Lynette?
never had the courage to speak out. Thank you all. Truly. Thank you so
Or am I
much.
still missing something here?
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name. I never would have guessed that Lorenzo was the real Phantom Weasel. He never showed any signs that there were problems between him and Cesar in public. From the outside, it looked like they got along great. And to think that lowlife's been living life to the fullest all this time, while Caesar's name was getting dragged through the mud. It's a travesty. At least his soul can finally rest in peace now, thanks to your efforts.
If only I'd realized before it was too late.
Don't blame yourself, Jemma. This isn't your fault.
Yeah, you still have the rest of your life to live. Caesar wouldn't want to see you spending it feeling guilty.
Cheer up, Jemma. My brother's doing a magic show at the Opera House tomorrow evening. Would you like to come along? It might raise your spirits. This show will be a special one. We're holding it in Caesar's honor.
In Caesar's honor?
Lyney, you're not doing the freaking,
Really?
high altitude escape trick, are you?
I'll be there.
Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Traveler, Paimon, don't be late.
Don't worry, we'll be there. No way are we gonna miss out on a free magic show.
Wait, so are we just cool with Lyney and Lynette
Wait.
now?
Paimon feels like we're forgetting something. Oh yeah, Caesar's diary! We never found out if the two kids Caesar taught magic to were Lyney and Lynette or not. Lyney changed the topic back in the workshop, so we didn't get a chance to bring it up. Oh well. You'll just have to ask Lyney tomorrow evening.
So I guess we're just cool with Lyney and Lynette now, right? Like, how much of the freaking Archon quest are we taking in as, like, you know? Because they clearly mentioned father and mission, meaning, yeah, we do know that they're Fatui, obviously. But I guess we're just cool with them now? That feels like it's kind of downplaying the crazy cliffhanger of, like, Act 1 Archon quest regarding our, you know, relationship with Lyney, but whatever. I mean, like, if he's cool with it, then I'm cool with it.